everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Genius Plus Twins. I'm Mrs. Spidel, and today we are going to be talking about what an integer is. This is an important concept in math that you'll use all the time. So let's dive in and make sure you really understand it. You might be asking, what are integers? Well, integers are whole numbers, and that's the key thing to remember. No fractions allowed. When we talk about integers, we're talking about numbers like -3, 7, 0, -10, or 100. But we're not talking about numbers like 2.5, -3.5, or 1/3. Those have fractions or decimals in them, so they are not integers. Integers are whole numbers with nothing extra attached to them. Integers come in 3 varieties, and it's important to understand each one. First, there are negative integers. An example of a negative integer would be -5. Negative integers are numbers less than 0, and they're used to represent things like temperatures below freezing, money you owe, or depths below sea level. Then there are neutral integers, and actually, there's only one neutral integer. 0. 0 is neither positive nor negative. It sits right in the middle and represents nothing. Finally, there are positive integers. An example of a positive integer would be +5. Positive integers are numbers greater than 0, and they represent things like money you earn, temperatures above freezing, or elevation above sea level. When we write positive integers, we usually don't bother putting the plus sign in front of them, so we just write 5 instead of +5, but they mean the same thing. I want to make sure this is really clear. Fractions are not integers. If a number has a decimal point or is written as a fraction, it is not an integer. So 1/2, 2.7, and -3 and 1/4 are all not integers. Only whole numbers count as integers. Now, let's talk about opposite integers, because this is a really cool concept. Opposite integers are the same distance from 0, but on different sides of the number line. An example of opposite integers would be -5 and +5. If you imagine a number line with 0 in the middle, -5 is 5 steps to the left of 0, and +5 is 5 steps to the right of 0. They are on opposite sides of 0 and are the same distance from 0. When you're writing the opposite integer of a number, remember the opposite integer of a number is the same distance from 0, and they are on opposite sides of 0. Let me show you an example with -4 and +4 on a number line. If you draw a number line and put 0 in the center, -4 would be 4 spaces to the left, and +4 would be 4 spaces to the right. They mirror each other perfectly across 0. Now, let's look at some real-world examples of integers. Integers show up all the time in real life, and understanding them helps you make sense of the world around you. For example, if you're earning $50, that would be represented by +50. But if you're spending $50, that would be represented by -50 because the money is going out instead of coming in. Here's another example. An integer that represents a temperature of -11 degrees would be -11. When temperatures drop below 0, we use negative integers to show just how cold it is. Well, that was our brief introduction to integers. We covered what integers are, how they can be negative, positive, or neutral, what opposite integers mean, and how integers show up in everyday situations. There's more to come on this topic, so keep practicing and thinking about integers in your daily life. Until next time, this is Mrs. Spidel. Keep learning and stay curious.